짚어보겠습니다.
Just as they'd started to relax, South Koreans woke to news that at 5:27 a.m. the North had launched a mystery missile from its northwest coast, although these pictures are of a previous launch. In 30 minutes, it reached an altitude of 1,200 miles before landing in the Sea of Japan off Russia. Japan's Prime Minister said this was absolutely unacceptable and posed a grave threat to Japan. His defense minister said that given its trajectory, it could have been a new type of ballistic missile. 2 such missiles were on display last month at a huge parade in Pyongyang presided over by Kim Jong-un, whose stated aim is to build a nuclear-armed intercontinental missile capable of crossing the Pacific. If the missile launched this morning hadn't gone straight up, it could have travelled nearly 3,000 miles, putting the US base on Guam within easy reach. There, Japanese forces are conducting joint manoeuvres with troops from Britain, the US and France. A US carrier strike group is holding joint drills with the South Korean Navy and the Western Pacific too. Today, the White House tone has sharpened. North Korea has been a flagrant menace for far too long, it said. The new liberal president of South Korea called today's launch a violation of UN resolutions. He'd remain open to dialogue, he said, but we must act decisively so Pyongyang does not miscalculate. But as Western intelligence experts pore over satellite imagery of North Korean nuclear sites and missile bases, Pyongyang's released pictures of what it says are the aggressive US anti-missile batteries deployed in South Korea. North Korean television said what it called US recklessness compels us to strengthen our nuclear deterrent. In Beijing, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping today expressed mutual concerns about the growing tensions. This senior North Korean diplomat was filmed in Beijing last night saying Pyongyang was willing to talk to the US if conditions were right. That was before this morning's missile launch, though, and it has only served to focus minds on the dictator Kim Jong-un and his long-range nuclear ambitions.
Now, a Liberal candidate who favours closer ties with North Korea has claimed victory in South Korea's presidential election. The election of Moon Jae-in, a former Special Forces soldier, looks set to mark a major shift in policy towards the North after months of escalating tension between the neighbours. Our Asia correspondent Jonathan Miller reports.
When you live next door to a dictator who's threatening to nuke you, your choice of president could be a matter of life or death. The Liberal who's won promises a volte-face from a decade of hardline policies towards Pyongyang, which Moon Jae-in says haven't worked. Cool Hand Moon wants to wrench the policy initiative towards North Korea back from Donald Trump. Declaring victory tonight, Moon said, "I will build a new nation. I will make Korea great again." He voted this morning in an election which saw the highest turnout for 2 decades. The 64-year-old trounced his 2 main rivals. South Koreans voted for regime change and control over their own destiny. Moon Jae-in, a former human rights lawyer and Catholic son of North Korean refugees, says his country needs to learn to say no to America. When we caught up with him at a recent rally, "Is Donald Trump playing with fire, Mr. Moon?" He said he could work with Donald Trump. But Trump's given South Korea the jitters. Mr. Moon will have to balance the interests of the USA, his country's principal ally, with those of its biggest trading partner, China, while calming Kim Jong-un up north. His election tonight will end months of turmoil after huge protests against his right-wing predecessor in the Blue House, the most unpopular president ever, Park Geun-hye, which led to her impeachment and arrest last month on charges of extortion, which could see her jailed for life. Moon was jailed as a pro-democracy student leader for protesting against the rule of her dictator father. Now at the helm of the world's 11th largest economy, Moon Jae-in is promising Koreans jobs and to rein in and reform the chaebol family conglomerates like Samsung and Hyundai. But it's how he'll handle his republic's relationship with Washington over how it's handling the threat posed by Pyongyang that will likely have the biggest impact. Moon's irritated by America's decision to deploy its anti-missile system. Its powerful radar capability has antagonized Beijing. Moon's cast by his critics as a lefty North Korean sympathizer who could revive the sunshine policy of economic rapprochement. Thus far, both left and right have failed to curb Kim's nuclear ambitions. What South Koreans will want from Mr. Moon is what the world will want: a calming, stabilizing influence and some fresh ideas.